Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Investing Kev. In today's episode, a day after Huya's earning reports, the tech titan Tencent, ticker TCEHY, released their earnings report and their fiscal year 2021 highlights. This week has some notable Chinese stocks releasing their earnings report, so we'll take a look at how Tencent did as well as some related news to the stock. Check out my Huya video from yesterday, episode 59. If you like this content, please help me out by giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing, and leave a comment. Alright everyone, it's time to get started. Looking at their Q4 2021 highlights, in the fourth quarter they had total revenues of 144.2 billion RMB. This is a year-over-year increase of 8% compared to fourth quarter last year. When we look at value-added services, we saw social networks, domestic games, and international games all going up. In the fourth quarter, their international game segment brought in 13.2 billion RMB. This is a 34% increase year-on-year. When we look at online advertising, they brought in 21.5 billion RMB. This is a 13% decrease year-over-year. Their media segment decreased 25% year-on-year, and their social and others decreased 10% year-on-year. Looking at their fintech and business services side, they brought in 48 billion RMB. This is a 25% year-on-year increase. And when we look at others, they only brought in 2.8 billion RMB, which is a 21% decrease year-on-year. When we look at fiscal year 2021, their total revenues were at 560.1 billion RMB. They saw a year-over-year increase at 16%. Their value-added services were at 291.6 billion RMB, which is a 10% increase, and their online advertising was at 88.6 billion RMB, which is an 8% increase. Their fintech and business services brought in 172.2 billion RMB, which is a 34% increase year-on-year. Right now, the international games and fintech and business services segment of Tencent is thriving. And look at the key services update. When we look at games, they are number one by users in China across PC and mobile. They are also number one globally by revenue. I want to take a look at communication and social. When we look at Weixin and WeChat, they are currently the number one mobile community. Their monthly active users are currently at 1.2 billion people. And when we look at QQ mobile devices have monthly active users at 552 million people. When we look at digital content, long-form videos are currently number one by subscriptions. When we look at news, they are currently the number one news service by monthly active users. When we look at music, they are number one music services provider. When we look at literature, they are number one online content library and publisher. When we look at fintech, their mobile payment is number one by monthly active users and daily active users. And when we look at public cloud, they are number two by service provider by revenue. And when we take a look at utilities, they are number one by monthly active users when it comes to mobile browser and mobile security. There is definitely pressure on financials amid structural industry changes. As of right now, Tencent is choosing sustainability over revenue growth. Advertisers and their ad services adapted to the new economic and regulatory conditions. They also had pressured margins due to operating deleverage, and they also increased their losses at several investees. For example, they increased their investments in new businesses such as community group buy. There's currently heavy expenditure on user acquisition. I want to take a look at their path to stabilization and future growth drivers. These market positions remain intact despite near-term challenges such as advertising, domestic games, cloud, and long-form video. And they also have compelling opportunities in strategic growth areas. They have SaaS, which is software as a service, video accounts, and international games. Overall, with all the challenges that Tencent's dealing with, I think they had an alright earnings report. I came across this article yesterday, and this really put into perspective what to expect for their earnings report. Tencent stays in Beijing's sights even after $490 billion drop. The article is written by Zhe Huang. China's second largest company is expected to unveil its slowest pace of growth on record when it reports earnings Wednesday. The forecast for Tencent is 8.7% growth year-on-year. Regulators are considering requiring Tencent to bundle WeChat Pay into a financial holding company. This is part of an overhaul of its giant fintech arm that could undermine the appeal of its entire social media business. And this is related to their video game sector. A freeze on new titles in the world's largest mobile gaming market is now entering its 8th month. This is forcing Tencent to increasingly turn outward with renowned properties like the League of Legends franchise. Its nascent fintech and cloud segment, the only division projected to post double-digit growth, has yet to meet requirements from the financial regulators, and it faces intensifying competition from the likes of Alibaba and Huawei. And going back to WeChat Pay, regulators are now weighing whether Tencent should include WeChat Pay in a newly created financial holding company. This comes a year after they told the tech giant and 12 other firms to cordon off financial services from their main businesses. While similar requirements are imposed on Jack Ma's Ant Group, ring-fencing Tencent's financial business could be more difficult. This is because it's an integral part of WeChat's one-stop shop convenience and relies on back-end support from different divisions within the company. Tencent executives have said a fintech shakeup should have little impact on operations. WeChat Pay is first and foremost a transactional platform instead of a lender, which has higher risks. And right now, Tencent has many approved games in the pipeline, despite having no concrete timetable. We believe it has delayed these launches to avoid regulators' attention in the near term. We expect its collaborations with international game houses and investments in overseas game studios to drive Tencent's expanding influence globally. And this is what CITIC analyst Wang Guanran had to say. Tencent's earnings will face pressure over the short term, but its core businesses remain competitive. There is a lot going on in the short term right now for Tencent, but I believe in its long-term future. When we look at the future of Tencent, I want to take a look at two of their already established sectors and how they're doing. Weixin, also known as WeChat, their open ecosystem reported user and engagement growth. This article is from January. The number of daily active users of Weixin mini programs, which gives users instant access to enterprise services, exceeded 450 million as of the end of 2021. Meanwhile, the app's built-in search function, Weixin Search, swelled to more than 700 million monthly active users in the same period. If you don't know what Weixin mini programs are, they are apps ranging from e-commerce, life, travel, dating, food that people use within the Weixin ecosystem. The most popular mini programs by category in the following order. Games was by far the most popular category, lifestyle came in second, blog, news, and e-commerce tied for third, tools came in fifth, travel came in sixth, and entertainment came in last place. Think of these mini programs being like a Starbucks app, an online dating app, video games, JD.com e-commerce app, all within the ecosystem of Weixin. And when we take a look at gaming, Tencent is the world's biggest gaming company out there. When we look at 2025, the global gaming market is set to top $250 billion by 2025. Between 2019 and 2025, the gaming industry went from a value of $151.55 billion to an expected $256.97 billion in a few years. This is with the video game side netting worth $90 billion in 2020. Gaming is a hobby of choice for 2.5 billion people around the globe, including 456 million people actively involved in esports. And when we look at a few years later, the global gaming market was valued at $173.7 billion in 2021. It is expected to reach a value of $314.4 billion by 2027. This would be registering a compound annual growth rate of 9.64% over 2022 to 2027. According to a report published by Data Reportal, 4.88 billion people across the globe use the internet in October 2021. This was almost 62% of the world's total population. The report also suggested that more than 222 million new users came online over the past 12 months. And within the video game market, if we take a look at the global mobile gaming market, it is expected to reach $139.5 billion by 2026. The mobile gaming market in the US is estimated to reach $20.3 billion in the year 2022. China, the world's second largest economy, is forecasted to reach a projected market size of $43.4 billion by the year 2026. Among the other noteworthy geographic markets are Japan and Canada. They are forecasted to grow at 11.6% and 9.7% respectively. Within Europe, Germany is forecasted to grow at approximately 9.3% compound annual growth rate. And within India, Indians are anticipated to spend significantly on mobile gaming, which would make it the fastest growing mobile gaming market in the world. And among the top 30 video games worldwide, nearly 17 games were developed by companies based in China or with an investor or parent company in China. That is incredible numbers. Right now, Tencent is currently at $47.86. Even with the current gaming freeze lasting for 8 months, I still believe in this tech titan. I'm going to continue to dollar cost average as much as I can. Tencent has such a massive and growing global footprint. As the world continues to get connected to the internet, there will be a rise in gaming via PC or mobile. I believe China is positioned well to continue developing these really popular games, and Tencent will be at the forefront. The video game freeze definitely hurts, but I believe it is temporary. I believe Tencent will continue to evolve over the years, and I find this company very attractive for many years to come. That's all I have for you today. If you like this Q4 and fiscal year 2021 update on Tencent, please like this video, share it with your family, friends, investing community, and subscribe to this channel for more content like this. Also, leave a comment if you're a Tencent investor. Also, feel free to hit me up on the comment section or on Twitter. If there's anything about Tencent that I missed, please leave it in the comment section so as a community we can learn from one another. As always, thank you for tuning in, stay safe, and I'll see you all next time.